Alright, by this time I want to assume that you know how to go to ieclass.com, go to lab resources, and find, this is going to be Texas State JPEG. This is actually a picture from the Texas State College. What we're going to do is we want to put text in front of this, but there's a lot of colors going on here, and so we're going to use the colorize tool to kind of fade this out, make it all one color, and so the text that will pop out. So the first thing we're going to do is going to go in GIMP, which now I have all my toolbars at the top. I'm going to click on color and then click on colorize. It's going to give me several options here. The first one is the hue, which this is where I get to pick the color. So I can go from a red to a green and then to a blue and back to almost to a red. So we're going to adjust my hue to 214, so I can type in 214 here. Now the saturation, we're dealing with a kind of a blue color, and the saturation can go, kind of tells me the purity of the color. I can go all the way, this is the full amount of blue you can use, and if I desaturate this, it'll go to a grayscale and takes all the blue out. So for this one, I'm going to pick around 63, so I can either drag and get it close, and I can use my arrows, or I can type in 63 here. So this is the blue tint we're going to use. The third one is a lightness, which tells me how dark or light my picture is going to be. And by adjusting this, this makes it completely white, which is bright as possible, and then I can make it completely black. So I'm going to bump this and move it to 82. So it almost gives it a transparent look, but you can't really see through it. It's just adding a white. Alright, so that's a faded look. So now we're going to add and place text on top of this. So once I have that, I'm just going to hit OK. Now I'm ready to go back and use my text tool. So I'm going to click on my text. In my toolbar options, I'm going to change my font to Sans Bold. And I'm going to change my font size to 70. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is change my color to a blue, and I'm going to use the HTML notation 130866, which is just a shade of dark blue, and I'm going to hit OK. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here, and one thing we haven't talked about is we can justify our text in our text box. So I'm going to go to the center, and I'm going to drag a text box roughly in the middle that goes all the way. Draw my text box out in the center. I can go here by the corners and adjust. And in here I'm going to type in Texas State University. And if yours isn't showing up, it may look like this. We just may need to adjust our text box window. Alright, if for some reason your layers window is not open, you can always go to Windows, go to Dockable Dialogues and click on Layers. Also there's the shortcut Control L. Alright, so now I'm going to create a border. And what I want to do is first use alpha to selection with my Texas State to select my text. So right click on Texas State and go down to alpha selection. You may not see a portion of this. Alright, so now the dashed line indicates that it is selected. So I'm going to put this in a new layer. So I'm going to click Layer, New Layer. I'm going to name it Border. Transparent background, hit OK. So now my border shows up. If I hide this, we should still see the dashed line. If I hide the Texas State picture, I still have the dashed line. Alright, so like I said, we did yesterday with making the border. We're going to grow this. So with the border layer selected, I'm going to go to Edit. Go to Select and click Grow. From there I'm going to go up 2 pixels in every direction and hit OK, so it just makes it a little bit larger. And now I'm going to fill this. So I'm going to click on the bucket fill. I want to make sure foreground color is selected. Make sure you also have the fill the whole selected, fill whole selection. If you fill with just a similar color, it's not going to matter with this case, but if there's multiple colors here, it's only going to fill with that color. So make sure we fill the whole selection. And I'm going to fill with a black. So I'm going to click here, and black may show up here, or we can type in 000000. And hit OK. And so now we have a black background, and I can click anywhere in here and it fills. I'm going to go back and turn my text to state on and turn these on. Now the border is in front of my text to state and it's larger, so it's hiding it, so I need to drag and move it down. Alright, so these dash lines, sometimes they get confusing, you can't see. I can always go up to select none, and then I can go down here and zoom in, and we can see that there is a black border. We want to go to File, Export, and export this as web 8-1.gif. Your name, lab81.gif, and make sure this time it's going to the desktop. We know where it's saved, and hit export, and we finish the activity.